Hello and welcome back to Games and Thoughts. I'm Traxton,
And I'm Michael.
and today we'll be talking about politics. And I guess in general, we can just start with, what do you think the current state of American politics is? I know that's a loaded question to start with, but
I believe that it's very corrupt to, everyone is getting bribed to say things. It's corrupt to the point that, the public is forced to be cynical and skeptical of all politicians.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the number recently. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the approval rating of Congress is just unbelievably low. Like it's like
Yeah.
they're not even trying anymore to pretend to
Was
serve public
that
interest.
was that recently?
Yeah, it was. I I will try to find that actually.
Okay. I will just say that Trump capitalized on the corruption by saying it's corrupt, even though he's part of the corrupt upper class.
Right.
He was able to just kind of sneak around. Just the fact that he called the other politicians corrupt and he made up the name the swamp and all that. He just kind of connected with people on their level, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, the swamp has not been drained in any sort of fashion.
Yeah, but uh, I guess it depends who you ask. He certainly
Well,
fires a lot of people. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, that is true. Yeah. So this is from 2017. So I guess I'm not gonna be able to
Oh,
find the most recent one, but
okay.
it says at that point Congress was at a 10% approval rating,
Ooh,
which
ooh.
is quite low. Like I
So
don't know what it's usually at, but
90% of America was disapproving.
right,
That's funny.
that is quite large.
That's hilarious.
Right. Well, I mean, it's so obvious that these politicians are beholden to their corporate donors, and
Yeah,
it's very clear that nobody really cares about achieving the best America that we possibly can. And
yeah.
I guess to kind of lead into that, what do you think the best political system would look like? Like, do you think we have it figured out with our kind of democracy, or what do you think would work?
Um, I I don't think that there is necessarily a best political system, but to have a better functioning one, I guess. I th- I kind of think that there should be smaller countries because more a higher population just means a higher disagreement, and maybe to an extent, in terms of evolutionarily speaking, humans aren't really used to being in a pack of however many million people there are in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, um, many people would say that the best system humans ever had was in pre-agricultural times when we were just hunter gatherers moving around in tribes.
Yeah, well, we didn't back then. We didn't care if marijuana was legal or not.
Right. Yeah, I mean this modern phenomena of putting people in literal cages for just doing something to perturb their consciousness in a certain way is just, it's so insane when you think about it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Well, I guess like in that case, like what people say is that if they're saying that like pre like the hunter gatherer, if they're saying that that is the best government, then they're kind of saying that no government is the best government. Is
Right.
that yeah?
Yeah, well, I think it also goes back to what you were saying about just having less people to care about. Like
Yeah.
there's that phenomena, I can't remember what it's called, but basically the human brain is only designed to care about 100 people,
Yeah.
and we live in a country of how many million people? Like
Hmm.
it's just not possible to to set off our empathy alarms every time something bad happens to a fellow citizen, and that's a real
Hmm.
problem with policy.
And I guess over time we just, as the population has gone up, we just are like our civilizations have just gotten bigger and bigger, but that just makes more disagreement and more feuding. I don't like I don't know much about Europe and those countries over there, but I know that they're smaller countries and they seem to function a bit more efficiently, like Sweden and Norway and
Hmm. Yeah, well, that idea of just kind of breaking everything down back into small groups, I think, is very interesting because uh, it just kind of, it fits with our biology better. Like
yeah,
we're built to care about smaller groups, but we find ourselves in these large groups, and then we have to
yeah,
go overboard and have crazy nationalist ideas just to make ourselves care about our country, which aren't helpful
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
And I mean, when you consider the mass cooperation amongst an entire country, you would think it would result in just crazy amounts of leisure time for everyone within it, and that's not the case either. Like it's not it's not clear what we're gaining from the current system.
yeah. It's just kind of like a this is what we've been doing, and it would be a lot more complicated at this point to write up a new system of government. So,
Right. Well, yeah, this is something I was thinking about the other day. We have this really weird, uh, like reverence for the founding fathers that I'm not sure exists in other countries. Like
hmm,
we really do treat the Constitution like it's like a holy document.
yeah.
Like we can't delete anything from the Constitution. It has to be amended.
Well, I guess like when you get your independence that way, like in the fashion that America did, like it's kind of easy to see why like there's all these nationalists and people like
Hmm.
that is it's
Right.
kind of a it's like it's definitely a childish way of thinking. Like, oh, we beat you at something, therefore we're better. Um, yeah, and that was like hundreds of years ago, but I feel like it kind of set the stage for American minds.
Yeah, I mean there are fairly recent ancestors, so it definitely has an impact on us. Also, you have to factor in the types of people that were making the journey over here. Like
Yeah.
they they weren't all there most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we've both just kind of been talking down on the current state of things, but do you think there is a necessity for the kind of system we're in, or just governments in general?
Um, do I believe personally?
Yeah.
Um, Possibly. Uh, I think that there should definitely be less regulation on things, and government should be more like not as involved as they are currently.
Yeah, well, I mean, as someone who is intelligent and can take care of themselves, it's very easy to think, why is the government doing anything at all? But I think people have the idea that we need the government there to tie up loose ends, essentially, like just to make sure things don't go terribly wrong in the meantime.
Yeah, people just kind of believe that we need laws, but I don't know. I feel like if we didn't have laws, like we wouldn't all become murderers. That's just my opinion, though. I don't
Right.
know.
I guess the argument could be made that some number of people would become burglars, though, if the law wasn't in place.
Uh, Maybe I have I have faith in the
Oh
humans.
boy, we're dealing with a human race optimist here.
Yeah,
I think it's also our perspective on this is heavily influenced by the time that we live in.
definitely.
Um, so I mean, someone living in a different time where crime was much more rampant might have a different view of the necessity for law.
Yeah, that is true. And like the 1800s or whatever,
Yeah,
the Wild West and whatnot.
right. So I think we are about time, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't know. I guess to summarize, I just kind of believe that smaller groups of people, smaller countries, whatever, is a better, it makes for a better uh, political system.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with that. So we will see you guys next time on Games and Thoughts. Be sure to follow and support us wherever you feel necessary.